Yes, when I take off my glasses, stop clapping. With 3 weeks in the race, Kamala gets lost in space. True, Harris should stay out of the bars before she talks about stars. In a recent interview, she answered a question about crime with an astronomical analogy. Roll it, Doris.
You know, there's this whole, I talked with somebody once who said, you know, if you just look at where the stars are in the sky, don't look at them as just random things. If you just look at them as points, look at the constellation, what does it show you?
She's right, you know. I learned that in 3rd grade. Stars can appear to be random, but together they form a picture. I know, blows your mind. For example, I looked up at the sky last night and I took a picture of a really interesting constellation. Molly, you're an astute political observer. What is I can't figure out if she's not trying because she knows she's going to lose, or she's not trying because she knows she's going to win no matter what.
Oh, that's a worrisome question.
Yes.
Every time I hear her talk, I'm always thinking, is this Kamala who's had a lot to drink, or is this Kamala who's high? And I felt like this seemed more like the latter rather than the former. But this is her whole problem, is that I don't know if we've had anyone run for office at this level with this low of intelligence, and it just keeps coming out over and over.
Yeah. You know what was great about that is that how low energy and relaxed she was. She's like, I was talking to someone. So I can't even bother to tell you who it was. And it was about these stars. They're like dots.
Yeah.
You know, you look up at them and they seem random. And it's like, to her, this is like mind-blowing. But, you know, you can connect them. And it's like, you know what it's like, Kat? It's like connecting the dots. And it's almost like she coined this idea that you can connect the dots and they make a bigger picture. It's insane.
It was really hard for, does anybody understand what she said?
No.
No.
Okay, good. I want to make sure, because I read it so many times over and over again. And I also think that it's possible that this is her trying.
No.
I mean, I think so, because when for a while, she just didn't talk to anybody. You know, she kind of just stayed and did whatever. I don't know what she did. None of us know what she did for most of the time that Biden was the president. And now she's going out there and she's like, all right, I'm going to give him. I think this is maybe her best shot. And I think people don't ask her follow-up questions often enough that I'm not even sure she really knows this is an issue.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if she did this tomorrow night with Brett Baer?
Oh.
Yeah. Like, I would love to see the follow-up on that.
Yes, because he would ask her probably, what do you mean by that?
Yeah,
that's the question. What do you mean by that? It's not that hard.
Yeah.
You learn this if you ever take like a high school journalism course, like, okay, like how, why? These are all questions you can ask. But I think the problem is, you know, people, obviously there's bias, but also I think it is difficult to listen. Because you're like, you just get lost. You're like, okay, whatever. You're bad. Okay, sure, honey.
Apparently, she's toying with the idea, Tyrus, of doing Joe Rogan.
I'm just going to stop you. Zoom in on here. Can you get close up?
Yeah.
Do not do Joe Rogan. Don't. Just don't. Okay?
Because all he's going to do is follow-ups.
No, all he's going to do is stare.
Yeah.
He's going to do the same thing. Listen. Am I the only one who gets physically tormented when she speaks? Because everyone has a relative like her in their family. And we're all trying to act like we don't hear this every Thanksgiving. You know that one uncle that you know, he does not have a job, he does not have a relationship, and he sits at the table and gives everybody a lecture on how to live life, and we're all like, just let him finish. Just let him finish. She doesn't study. She thinks she's a genius. She thinks unburdened by what has been is gold. It's not. This is who she is. The good news is she has the prep, and the one thing we know she did not do during the entire Biden presidency is study.
Yeah. You know, there's all this new stuff coming out, Jamie, about her plagiarizing part of her book and from news articles and the Wikipedia page. And, you know, what do you make of this? Is she declining, or is this how she's always been?
Well, speaking of the plagiarizing thing, she sort of feels like she has an out because she had a ghostwriter, right? She sort of goes like, oh, do you know that Joe Biden's the only guy to ever have an autobiography that had a ghostwriter? Zoom in right here.
Yeah.
Please do Joe Rogan. It would be so fun to talk about on this show. I didn't understand a word of the interview, and then what I did was, it might surprise you, I got super high.
Yeah.
And I watched it again, and it still did not make sense. And I knew, we always kind of talk about this follow-up question thing, like where are they? And so I wrote a couple that any interviewer could use some follow-ups for Kamala. I just want to read them off here. Huh? And then, are you still talking to me, or are you on a briefing? Could you say that again with the words in the correct order? And then, would you say what you just said is more bull or horse?
Bret Baier has to. I'm hoping he has to tomorrow. Just ask her in the realm of the transgender athlete realm of all of that stuff. Her wanting to pay for sex changes. Ask her to define a woman. I just want to see that.
I know what we're gonna see. He's going to take his glasses off and grab his face. And that's going to happen. That's going to happen. He's going to be like, Tyrus was right. I'm telling you. He's going to grab his face. That's all I'm watching for. I'm turning the volume off and like this. Grab his face. He will grab his face.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing, I hope. Coming up, they placed him on leave because a DEI nut was aggrieved.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.